If I like people that are normal. I like someone that is actually going to admit sometimes when they're wrong. If you have someone that you meet and always they're like, well, this is it, I'm not going to change my mind. You think, honestly, I don't like this person very much.
No.
So surely to like someone and get something up there, then you can get to trust someone.
I think that we in the media have a lot to blame for this. So say sorry. It's saying here. I mean, but she's so robotic. Oh, it's awful. Every day is a school day, as it were. Well, there we go. The Chancellor is ridiculed after U-turning on one of her first decisions, and that was to cut the winter fuel payments for the majority of pensioners.
Here's what makes this even more controversial. The timing of this reversal is suspiciously convenient. With local elections approaching and polling numbers showing significant damage to Labour's support, this U-turn looks less like economic policy and more like desperate political damage control.
I have said that we're going to do things differently. We're going to tell the truth, even when they are hard truths.
So Rachel Reeves turned the blame on what her party inherited from the previous government when she spoke.
We had to make difficult decisions last year. The public finances were in a total mess when I became Chancellor last summer, and we had to take immediate action to get control and get a grip of the public finances. We have been able to do that. We've returned stability to the economy. In the first quarter of this year, our economy was the fastest growing in all of the G7, which now means we're able to make different choices. And that's why today I can announce that this winter, 9 million pensioners will now receive the winter fuel payment.
Now let's talk about the real controversy here. Rachel Reeves and her advisors made a calculated decision to appear tough and fiscally responsible by targeting the group they thought would fight back the least. Think about that for a moment. They specifically chose to attack people who couldn't go on strike, couldn't organize mass protests, and couldn't defend themselves effectively. Internal sources suggest that when deciding where to make cuts, they deliberately avoided touching anything that would anger their traditional supporters, the trade unions, the public sector workers, the activist base. Instead, they looked for the most vulnerable target that would generate the least political resistance. But they massively miscalculated. They underestimated the British people's sense of fairness and compassion. They didn't realize that even people who aren't pensioners have parents, grandparents, and elderly neighbors they care about. The backlash was swift and brutal. Here's what makes this even more controversial. The timing of this reversal is suspiciously convenient. With local elections approaching and polling numbers showing significant damage to Labour's support, this U-turn looks less like economic policy and more like desperate political damage control. The human cost of this policy experiment cannot be understated. Elderly people have spent months living in fear, rationing heating, and worrying about their basic survival. Some have suffered health consequences from living in cold homes. Others have experienced severe anxiety and depression from the uncertainty. And let's talk about the broader implications for government credibility. If they can make such a fundamental error on a policy affecting millions of vulnerable people, what else are they getting wrong? What other policy disasters are brewing behind closed doors? The international implications are equally concerning. This kind of policy chaos damages Britain's reputation as a stable, predictable place to invest and do business. Financial markets don't respond well to governments that make major policy announcements only to reverse them within months. But perhaps most controversially, this exposes the fundamental dishonesty in their economic messaging. They claimed the economy was in crisis to justify harsh cuts. Now they're claiming the economy is strong to justify spending. Which is it? They can't have it both ways, and their contradictory statements reveal either incompetence or deliberate deception.
Thank you, Chancellor. Would you like to give a message to pensioners around the country who've been affected by your announcement today? I think they'll be broadly pleased at it. They've had a year or 9 months of worry and concern, and some have not got their winter fuel payment this year. Do you have a message for them? Would you like to apologise?
Well, 9 million pensioners this winter will receive winter fuel payment, and they'll receive it on time because of the decision that we've announced today to increase the level of the means test for the winter fuel payment. I think Express readers can see the state of the economy, can see the state of the public finances that this Labour government inherited last year. It meant a number of difficult decisions on welfare, on spending and on tax to restore stability to the public finances. And Express readers remember only too well the damage that Liz Truss and the Tories did to the economy when they made a load of unfunded commitments, and as a result it crashed the economy, putting pensions in peril and also pushing up interest rates and therefore mortgages and rents for families and pensioners as well. So we've been able to return stability to the economy because of those difficult decisions. We had strong economic numbers in the first quarter of this year, so we're the fastest growing economy in the G7 at the moment. And as a result, and because we've listened to people's concern about the level of the means test, we're now able this year to pay the winter fuel payment to 9 million pensioners.
So it's good to hear that you've listened to people's concerns. I think there are 1 million people who signed a petition calling for this policy to be reversed. Can you empathise with the worry and the concerns they've had in the last winter?
No, I absolutely understand that there are people just above the pension credit level who were concerned about losing the winter fuel payment. We were able to increase the new state pension, the basic state pension by over £450, up to by £450 in April this year because of our commitment to the triple lock, which is only possible because of the stability that we're returning to the economy. And also Express readers will know that we've managed to reduce NHS waiting lists since we came to office because of the investment that we put into our National Health Service. That's only been possible because of some of those difficult decisions, both to increase taxes, to constrain spending, but also some of those changes on welfare. But we are now in a better position. The work is not done. There is always more work to be done to ensure our public finances are on a solid footing. But as a result of the actions we've taken as a government, this year we can extend the number of pensioners receiving the winter fuel payment.
And the papers are very unforgiving this morning. Looking at the Daily Mail, deluded, the Metro, humiliating, and the Sun, it was fuelish. What do you make of it?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, those headlines all exactly describe the pickle that the Chancellor Rachel Reeves has found herself in. I mean, historically, what happened here was when they got in, the economy was in good shape and it was at the top of the G7 league. You know, the Tories had actually made progress in growth in the economy. But when Rachel Reeves got in, this amazing £22 billion black hole suddenly appeared. Even the OBR, who, you know, usually are very favourable to Labour government, questioned it and said, we're not sure where that is. But Rachel Reeves sat down with her advisors and decided to make the world think that I'm Chancellor and that I can take the hard decisions. We've got to announce a cut in public spending. Now, she could have announced a cut in public spending in the massive welfare bill. She could actually have said, I tell you what, I'm not going to give train drivers a rise to make their salary $70,000 a year. I'm not going to give the doctors what they wanted. But no, that would have promoted fury from all the traditional supporters on the Labour side, all the trade unionists and all the left-wing backbenchers. So what she did was she decided with her advisors to pick on the people who could least protect themselves, who could least fight back, and they were the pensioners, okay? And she never saw it as a political problem. She saw it as an opportunistic problem because pensioners don't go out in the streets and hold up placards. Pensioners can't go on strike like train drivers can. So she thought, this is absolutely perfect. Right. She didn't realise the massive political damage because in this country, we are a very caring country. And even if you weren't a pensioner, losing your £300 winter fuel allowance, you had children and even grandchildren who were very, very concerned for you. It was a wicked and nasty policy. It was ill thought through.